Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Chris, and we have our Mr. IVR, Italo, with us
Everybody,
today.
everybody.
So let us know in the chat. Are you getting ready for Beyonce's concert? If you're in the States, and you know, hey, Will, I see that you're checked in. So welcome. All right, so we're just gonna give it out one more minute and wait for a couple of people to come in. We pretty much have a large registration, but sure they're gonna be tuggling in anytime. All right. So today's all about the IVR, and no better person to have to speak about the IVR, someone who knows it like the back of their hand, and that's Italo. So Italo works with leads our CSM team for North America. So he's super knowledgeable when it comes to the IVR and all of the products here at Ringover. And hopefully you are interested into the IVR and a little bit more of our AI features. And we're releasing so many new AI features. So if you're not following us on LinkedIn, make sure you go to follow us on LinkedIn and also on YouTube and any social media platforms from Instagram to Reddit to Threads to YouTube, and then also following our Staff and Ring podcast as well, where you can hear from industry experts, just talking about like things that's going on in the industry. It's all like straight to the business, no fluff whatsoever with Jason Lawson. And then why should you consider IVR? If you're looking for an IVR and you are basically having like high call volume, and you want to automate that process and have a more cleaner and a refresh introduction, our advanced IVR is definitely the solution for you. There's different levels to our IVR, and it'll be going over workflows, how to advance in the IVR, what to do in the IVR, how to create custom greetings, and for the IVR, and also how to route calls. I believe that when you have like mass teams or even two people and someone is on during a certain time, you can route those calls to those persons. And basically, It'll is going to go to take a deep dive into all of that today. And if you haven't experienced Empower, you can. So Empower is our conversational AI solution that allows you to track calls, mood analysis, call statistics, and so much more, and get you that data, right? You have automation where we have the AI note taking, we have generative AI, and then also we have conversational AI. So it's definitely a game changer. So if you don't have AI in your tech stack with Ringover, consider trying it for 7 days. You can reach out to your account executive or CSMs for them to allow you to do a 7-day trial for that. And then, of course, you know that Ringover is connected to your ATS and CRM. So if you are not connected with your ATS and CRM, definitely hit us up. We're connected to basically all of the major ones, and then there's also new ones coming down the pipeline as well. So even if you change your CRM or ATS, we should have that integration. So now it's time for Italo to do the demo time, what you came here to see.
Yes. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen. One thing that I want to show you guys on the IVR is gonna be that you can have a flexible IVR. And let's just start with what IVR means. IVR means interactive voice responder. Basically, the machine that is answering the calls on your company. So here in the dashboard, we're gonna go to dashboard. We're gonna go to the settings section. We're gonna go to the IVR. And if you don't have any IVR, this is how it's gonna look like for you. You're going to be able to create an IVR. You're going to be able to put a name. So I'm just going to put main IVR. And you can always select a color. This is one of the good things. You can color code your IVRs. That way, whenever you receive a call to that IVR, you can see quickly by the color. That way, you don't have to worry about anything else regarding which IVR the people are calling in. So in my case, I'm going to put blue. And we're gonna have a few questions or a few processes that you definitely wanna go over. One thing to have in mind is gonna be their recordings. Like, do you want to record any inbound or outbound calls from the IVR? If the answer is yes, so make sure to activate that option. Then the second part is going to be if you want to allow your users, meaning the Ringover users of the IVR, to start or stop the recording at any point. This is optional. This is going to depend on case by case of what you need it to. But if you are, for example, a staffing agency that your team is going to be handling sensitive information, you may want to allow them to stop and start the recording at any point. This way, your team is say, "Hey, I'm going to get a social security number." They can stop the recording. They can get that information by hand, and then they can activate the recording after they get that sensitive information. This way, that sensitive information doesn't get stored in the recording. It's not storage on the transcription. It's not storage on the summary of the call, and it's completely safe for you guys to keep that information just to yourself and not to pass that information even into your CRM or your ATS. And then we have default recording. Default recording is to allow the call to start recording from the beginning of the call. So if you want to record all of your calls from the beginning, make sure you activate default recording. We have one option here is if you just want to record a percentage of your calls, just because you have a quality assurance team that I just want to randomly record some calls to be able to have that connection of, hey, I only want to record 50% of the calls. So those 50% of the calls that are being recorded, we are going to evaluate, we're going to check how our team is doing. You can do that. But honestly, with the benefits of the recordings provided, with the summary, with all the transcription, highly, highly recommended to have all the recordings activated. Now, the next option here is going to be VIP numbers. This is for your top clients that whenever they call your company and they go to the main company IVR, you want to make sure that they don't spend a ton of time on the phone. I'm going to show you some tricks here and there on how you can kind of create some secret menus for those clients, but you can add their number here without any problem. And if they get to a point that there is a queue, let's say there is 10 people waiting to get an agent or a person on the line, instead of them being the person number 11 on the line, they're going to be bumped to be the next person. That way, they are going to move faster in the line. So if you have any VIP customers, make sure to have this option available. This next one here is going to be to allow anonymous calls to come in. So some people have their phone numbers or the call ID numbers deactivated, meaning like this says unknown number, private ID, private caller. So you can block those calls to call into your dialer if you wanted to into your main IVR by just turn this option off. That way we don't allow those calls. But I always recommend to be able to receive any calls that you may want to get. And the next one here is only for outgoing calls. You can create a script that your team, if using the IVR, they can use this script to make their calls. It could be for sales, it could be for support, customer success, recruiters. That way, if they make an outbound call, they're gonna have the option to use a script in their calls. Okay, now what we're gonna go is into the different scenarios that we can create on the IVR. Before moving on, I'm going to save this scenario. I'm going to refresh my page really quick here on the IVR. And I'm going to assign a number to this IVR. The only reason I'm assigning this number from the beginning is because we're going to do some forwarding of calls, redirection of calls that it will require you to have a number assigned. So I'm just going to click on the plus. I'm going to assign the number that I want it to be assigned, and that's it. Nothing too crazy. I can assign multiple numbers to the IVR. That way, if I have local markets that I'm targeting with a specific number, instead of having to create 10 different IVRs, you can create the same IVR with all the numbers be attached to the same IVR. Okay. Now I'm going back to the IVR. We have all the functionality, and now we're going to go into our working time and as well as the business hours and special dates. I'm going to start with the business hours. Here is super simple, is from what time to what time you want this IVR to be activated, to be connected. So the first thing we want to see here is that you can change from what time to what time. I can say we are based in the Eastern time zone, so I can just say, hey, for 9 a.m. Eastern, all the way, I want to change it to like 8 p.m., which is going to be 20 hours. I can manipulate from what time I want this phone to be open with the specific scenarios that we're going to build. Now, you can put multiple scenarios within the same day. For example, I can say, hey, we work for 9 to 12. But then 12 to 1, we close because we're going to lunch. So I want to have that section between 12 to 1 to not have any redirections. Let me, my microphone got muted for a second. But this way, you're going to be able to have this option for the scenario. So I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to add a new scenario. I'm going to have my semi scenario. I'm going to say that we're going to start working at 1 p.m. again. So I can have those periods of time separated. That way, the own system is going to block those calls, or is going to redirect those calls, or is going to behave differently of those regular scenarios that you have it open. This way, you can block your team to say, hey, everybody takes a lunch here, or we have a different behavior in the afternoon, or even if you have an after hours team, you can select and create a different scenario that is going to allow you to have this same system behave on a different way on a specific times. So if you have a team on the West Coast and you're based on the East Coast, you have an after hours team, or you want to make sure that after hours there is a specific redirection to happen, you can set up that beforehand. That way you don't have to come, after hours on special dates to make those changes. So this is how you can create your own scenario by the day. If you have different behaviors for the different days of the week as well, you can create different behaviors for those week. But let's say we're gonna keep it simple to right now, and your work 9 to 6 nonstop. You can easily apply this to the entire week, or you can copy this. So I can just click on it and say, hey, I'm gonna apply this to Monday. Now I don't have to manipulate and do all the manipulation manually. I can just copy it, or I can just apply to the entire week, and I can decide, I don't work on Sundays. I'm going to delete this time frame. As well on Saturday, I can delete this time frame. Or if we work Saturday only half day, I can easily just put this into noon. So we work from 9 to noon, and then I will be able to just have my team being able to take those calls during that time. As you can see, you can mix and match as you need to. Now, we have, beside business hours, we have special dates. On those special days, you can pre-program your system to have a specific behavior during those dates. So for example, last week we have 4th of July. So I can just go ahead, July 4th. And then, I'm gonna keep it July 4th. And I can just keep and decide, hey, on July 4th, I'm gonna put from what day to what day I'm gonna add this special behavior, and I can say, well, during that time, you are going to do X, Y, Z. I want to redirect the calls to this other team. I want to move these calls to this other department, or I just simply want to put a specific voicemail regarding the 4th of July. So this way, you can set all those special dates on your team without you having to connect on the holiday, making the changes and anything like that. The system will do that automatically for you. So highly recommend you, if you have an IVR, set those special dates. One time you sit down for maybe 5-10 minutes and you can do the whole year without any problem. Now on the right side here, we're going to have multiple settings that I want to make sure that we cover. The first one here is going to be the time. This time zone is going to be specifically for your specific IVR. So if you have multiple offices across different time zones, make sure that each IVR reflects the time zone of your office. So if I put here and I look, for example, for Alaska, I'm going to be using the 9 a.m. time based on the Alaska time zone. So just make sure that the time zone that you are selecting for your team or for your IVR, in this case, is the one that you actually needed to be connected to. So as you can see, we have here all the multiple time zones that you needed to. So in my case, I'm going to keep it Eastern time. Now I'm going to go into the scenarios. Here on the scenarios on the right side is where you can start building the behavior of your system. I'm going to click in open. As you can see, open is dark blue. I can change that color. I can put it orange. I can put it green. I can put whatever color I need to. In this case, I'm going to keep it blue. And then I'm going to just click over open or configure, and I'm going to be able to start configuring my IVR. As you can see here, we have an automatically added the call queue. So whenever you create an IVR, the call queue is going to be the first one to be added to the system. Now, this is again just a placeholder, a template. So if the IVR gets created, if the IVR goes live, already has someone being able to answer the call. Now, what I want you to always start is here on the top where it says start of a call. And the question I always do in the trainings whenever I meet with a team and doing the consulting part is, what do you want the people calling you to experience? Was that first experience that you want them to have? Some says, hey, no, I just want to bring the whole team and that's it, keep it simple. Some people want to say, hey, I want to add a message. I want to let know that, hey, they're calling Ringover, they're calling this company. Other people say the first thing I wanted to put is that this call is being recorded. So here, Ringover, you're going to be able to mix and match and do whatever you needed to do for the experience of the people calling in. My recommendation always going to be click on the plus so you can see all the options that you have available for that specific section. So if I go here, I click on add step, I'm going to be able to have different options in my system. For the start of the call, I can have the greeting or the call recording announcement. If I want to go straight to the menu, I have my nested IVR, or I can ask for a code. And then I have all my redirections. If you have a smart users, you're going to have the option for smart users. If you have business or advanced users, you're going to be able to see that option as well. And then you're going to be able to have some external redirections. Now, it's very important to have in mind that if I click in the plus after the call queue, I'm going to have the option for end of a call of voicemail. The only reason I don't see that option here is because the end of the call is going to be where this red icon is going to be. So the system is going to tell me, hey, we cannot put a voicemail here because that's not the end of the call. However, we can put it here because that's the end of the call. And simply you can start adding steps in between. Now, my recommendation is always, at least me as a person calling into a company, I want to make sure that I'm calling the right person, I'm calling the right company. So my preference, I always recommend is either using the greeting option or the call recording an option. Both options has the same functionality. The only difference that they're going to have in between is that the call recording announcement is going to have the feature to allow the caller, meaning the person calling into your company, to stop the recording if they decide to. So how this look like is, once I click on it, you're going to see that it opens here, and I can click on this gear icon. Whenever we see a gear icon, make sure you click on it because you're going to have the settings for that gear icon. So the first thing is going to tell you is like, do you want to consider this as a missed call? Meaning, if somebody hang up the call in this specific place, do we want to consider that call as a miss? Always when I'm doing the consulting work, I always recommend to have this option off because we haven't had any chance to answer this call before they hang up. They were listening to the recording, they may have just called and hang up right away. So we, as the company, we did not have any chance to answer the call. So I would recommend to have this option to consider as a miss turned off. And here is the next feature that on the call recording announcement, you're going to have this option is to allow the user or the caller to be able to stop the recording by pressing any of the options that you mentioned. So, for example, if you're on a place that say, "Hey, I want to allow the person calling in to stop the recording," you can say, "Hey, I want to put the start key. That way, if they press the start key, they're going to stop the recording." And as we say here, remember to say which keypad option to select to stop the recording. We're going to go into how to create that message. So this is the configuration of call recording announcement. If we add greeting, you're going to see that greeting only has one option. Same functionality, you're going to be able to create a message. The only is that call recording announcement is going to have the option to stop the recording. Now, you're going to see here that we have the option to um, being able to create the message. So I can go ahead, create your message, and you're going to have multiple options. The first one, which is my personally favorite option, is the text to speech. This way, you're going to be able to just type the text that you need to type, and then you're going to be able to generate that text. The second option that you have is the recording with your own voice, which you just click record, and then you're going to start recording with your own voice. And as well, you're going to be able to upload any recording that you may have for your company. Now, My personal preference is the text to speech. The reason is it takes just a few seconds to create it. And if you need to modify that, you can just rewrite the text and you will be able to modify that. Now, I understand that some people is like, no, I'd rather use your own voice, and that's perfect. You can still use that. The benefit for the text to speech is, let's say down the road, you need to update the menu for something. You don't need to rely on the same person to record the voice. You can just come here and update whatever update you need to have on the text to speech. So in this case, I'm gonna put here, hey, thank you for calling Ringover, and I'm gonna make the comment regarding the recording of the call. This call is being recorded. If you want to stop the recording, please press the star key. That's it. I'm not gonna put any music in this case. I'm gonna choose the voice. We have a premium voices, and in my case, I like Ava and Emma voice. So I'm gonna put Emma, and then I can click preview. Here is gonna generate the AI voice to be able to play it out, and then you can click on it, and then you're gonna be able to listen to the voice. I don't know. Let me make sure. There you go. So I'm gonna play it again because I don't think it was making the sound there, but I'm gonna play it here.
No, we can't hear it.
You can hear it?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna just share my tab. That way, I'm pretty sure it's gonna being able to play it without any issue. You're gonna be able to
Hi, thank you for calling
hear.
Ringover. This call is being recorded. If you want to stop the recording, please press the star key.
Once you have the audio that you want to have, you can put a title. I'm gonna put here, welcome recording, and that's how simple you can modify and add a new voice. If you need to modify that voice, you can click on the pen, and then you can just go ahead and jump in directly there. Again, that's my preference. That's how I prefer using the voices, just because it helped me modify anything quick. If I don't like the voice, I can just go ahead and search for different voices. As well, we have different accents. If you have offices in Australia, UK, Ireland, US, you're going to be able to select the different voices that we have. So this is a great again tool to be able to create something quick, move without you having to create anything too crazy with somebody and recording it, and you have a background noise and all that. It's just easy and clean. Now, after the recording, depending on how complicated you want to go or how simple you want to go, you can just go straight as we have here a call queue for the advanced users, or you can go ahead and add a nested IVR, or you can ask for a code. What a nested IVR means is basically you have multiple options, option one, option two, and you can add as many options that you need to. This will allow you to redirect the calls to a specific groups. Now, I love nested IVR because then we can liberate the problem of, oh, I need to forward this. You meant to talk to John's on sales. Okay, let me forward this to John because you call the support line, or I happen to be support and I happen to answer the call. In this section, we're going to allow the user or the person calling in, sorry, to select what option they want to pick based on their needs. So again, as we mentioned before, you can create your message. You're gonna turn off the music. You're gonna say, please press one for support. And then very important here, you can put commas and periods. You should put commas and periods because that's it's going to be one of the options, or that's going to help the AI to know where to make the pauses. So please press one for support, press two for sales, and press three for anything else. Again, I can use that same voice. So in my case, I think I use Emma. I can search for the search bar, but I know it's going to be right here. And then same thing, I preview the voice, generate the voice,
Please press 1 for support. Press 2 for sales. Press 3 for anything else.
and then I'm going to have this option. I'm going to put menu options, and I save that audio. So as you can see here, I have option one, option two already pre-created. And now I'm going to start building my options. In this case, I'm going to click on the number four because I'm not going to have a number four option. So I'm going to click on the gear icon. I'm going to go to the bottom left side to delete this keep out option. I'm going to be working with these three options. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to delete everything. It's always to delete. It's going to be in the bottom left side because I want to build it from the top with you guys. So we said number one is support. So what we're going to do is we're going to go click, and then we're going to be able to select what option we want to have. If I had my advanced users, you're going to be able to click on advanced users. You're going to click on the setting, and then you're going to see that you're going to add yourself here automatically because again, that's a placeholder. You can delete yourself, and then you can select to either add users or you add groups. My recommendation is always going to be to add groups. The reason for this is because this is going to allow you to add and delete people from your groups without you having to touch the IVR again. So in my case, I'm going to search for support. And as you can see here, I have 5 people in support, and I'm going to select the option for support. Then I have the next section, which is called forwarding. This means is how we're going to ring those people. I can do simultaneous, cascading, or regular intervals. My preferred option is going to, and I have the smart. A smart is going to be via webhook. This way you connect to a specific website database that you may have, and it will retrieve that information. But honestly, I think one of the best options is either cascading or at regular intervals. Cascading option is going to ring one person at a time, and then at regular intervals, it's going to ring one person at a time, but it's not going to hang up the first person. So I'm going to say, hey, every 5 seconds, you're going to make a new call. So it's going to call person number one. 5 seconds later, it's going to call person number two while still ringing person number one. So you can choose as you need to. And of course, simultaneous is going to call everybody at once. My preferred option is cascading, and I love to activate the machine learning AI. The reason is because I can say, hey, I'm going to, and now I'm going to have to reshare my screen because we have a menu of options that I definitely want you to look at. These options is going to allow you to select between users based on call history or one user. My recommendation is always to keep it on users based on call history. That way, if that one person is not available, then we're going to be able to have the next person to answer that. The second option is going to be depending on who. And here you're going to have multiple options. Has taken the most calls with the caller, last spoke to the caller, spoke with the caller the longest, the contact owner in the CRM, and then you have 3 options that are based on the performance. Has taken the least amount of calls, has spent the least amount of time on the phone, and has the most availability. All these, you can do it based on 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month. Depending of your needs, for example, on a case of support, I will use, I say, hey, has to spend the least amount of time on the phone based on today. So 1 day. So this way, I'm going to prioritize to transfer the calls to those agents that has spent the least amount of time on the phone. And I will always put the example. You may have one agent that has taken 10 calls of 1 minute each. That's a 10 minutes total of conversation. But you have one agent that has spoken for 10 minutes. So then you're going to be able to like, hey, I has spoken for 20 minutes. So the system is going to say, well, you may have taken 10 calls, but only you have been on the phone for 10 minutes. So I'm going to prioritize that call to you. You can mix and match how you need to. If you are, for example, in the recruiter space, you may want to say, hey, the last spoke to the caller or has taken the most call with the caller based on 1 month. This way, if one of those recruiters call, nobody else is going to get that first stride of the call, but that person that has been or has taken the most calls with the caller. So this is going to save you time to your team to start forwarding. Let me see if that person is available or something, because we're going to prioritize them. And here you have some different informations regarding like, hey, how long you want, how many times you want to attempt to call. If you have a greeting, you want to transfer the call before the greeting after X amount of seconds. Maximum wait time is going to be very, very important as well, because you're going to have enough time here to say, hey, I only want them to wait 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour. Max amount of number of callers you can put it on the no limit. If you have the integration with Zendesk, you can create a call back request. It's going to generate a ticket on Zendesk. And then you have the option for if all agents are either offline, on snooze, or out or on the phone, you will be able to activate this option. That way, if all the agents are either on one of these options, the system is going to send a call to the next option there. Now, you can apply and mix this option of the call queue as you need it to. Here, in my case, I always recommend once if nobody can answer this call, if support cannot answer the call, what do you want to do? You can send it to a group, you can send it to a voicemail. It's your choice what to do, but always recommend it to have an option. So here, my recommendation will be voicemail. Same as the greeting, same as the nested IVR, you can create a message. You can put whatever message you need to, and then the system is going to play that message. Ideally, you will put something like, hey, sorry that we couldn't take your call at Ringover. At this time, our agents are not available, but please leave our message and we'll call you back as soon as possible. You can have who's going to be the person that's going to receive that notification. If you have external email, you can all add external email. So, like example, support at ringover.com. So we send a notification email there. As well, here, my recommendation is to consider this call as a miss because you're going to have that option of missing, of saying, hey, we missed the call. We were not able to answer. Let's make sure that we connect with that person. And even though that you put voicemail, you have the option to not allow that people or that person calling in to leave a voicemail. Now, here you can mix and match how do you need to, but there is multiple options that you can do here. For example, if you want to send to external phone number, external call center, you're going to be able to forward those calls to another number. I'm going to put here, I think that's a, yeah, I put a different number here. One, there you go. You're going to be able to add that number and you're going to be able to forward that call to somebody else. And my daughter just joined the call here. Yeah, I'm supposed to finish at 4:30, but I like to talk, as you guys can see. Now here you can have as many options as you need to, as many groups selection that you need to, as well. If you want to add multiple groups to the IVR options here, you can do it. For example, we have sales teams on the East Coast, sales teams on the West Coast, and sales team on the Central section. You can add those if you needed to without any issue at all. This way, you can have all your teams selected to receive those calls. Now, if there is any more that you guys go deep, for example, we have the ask for a code, as I mentioned before, is like a webhook that you're going to be connected, and we're going to get a little more technical part. Feel free to reach us out. We'll be more than happy to connect with you and guide you and your team on those technicalities. But my recommendation is put your hands on the product, put your hands on the IVR, all the different mix and match that you can do. Make sure, at least from my personal experience, make sure you use the machine learning AI to redirect these calls automatically. That way, you cut that time off for your team just transferring, trying to connect to the right person. The system can do that specifically for you. If you have the advanced license, you're going to be able to add scripts to the calls as well as a survey after the call. That way, you can create a survey, you can create the questions, what's the number validation of the questions. That way, you can have a little more information regarding the calls that you are creating. But as I mentioned before, if you need anything, do not hesitate to reach out to our team. We are here to support you. And this is a little bit of what's coming for Ringover. Next month, we have a special news. I will let that happen on the social media with Chris. That is going to increase the productivity for your IVR and for those first call reception that I definitely don't want you to miss out. Chris, I'll leave then everything else with you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you guys for joining. There's recording will be live after the event. And then also, if you have any questions, feel free to hit us up at support. Or if you want to find out more about your IVR, I know I did a poll and I have the people who said they need help with IVR. So I'll forward that over to Italo. I'm not sure if you are on the North America side or if you're on the Europe side or even Spain or Mexico. So therefore, we'll figure that part out. And I'll get the right people to you. And then we'll just do a follow-up on any questions that you may have. And our team is here to support you with advancing all of your opportunities with the IVR. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining the webinar and have a great one.
See ya. Thank you.
Yeah.